Coming up on this week's episode of SVG Motors Weekly.
Hi, I'm Hunter Hammer, and today on Tech Tips we're going to talk about changing a flat tire.
My name is Clayton Genth. I'm the Executive Director here of the HIT Foundation here in Eaton, Ohio.
Today our topic is your cooling system.
The all-new Ram 1500 simply has no competition.
Need a car, need it bad, need something better than what you had. Not sure what you want or where to go. Well, there's one place that you need to know. SVG is the place for me, where you get superior value guaranteed.
In early September, we learned that the HIT Foundation in Preble County had applied for a grant to purchase a vehicle to help further their mission of providing everyone in Preble County with safe, affordable housing. Mary Bolin, board president and founder of the HIT Foundation, says, "A friend once told me, to those whom much has been given, much is expected. Life had been good to me, and I now knew one way I could give back." Just as Mary felt motivated to help because of the blessings she had received, here at SVG, we feel very fortunate to the citizens of Preble County for supporting our Eaton Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram store, and knew we needed to return the favor by helping the HIT Foundation find the perfect vehicle. It's important to me to help the HIT Foundation in their search for the right vehicle so that they can deliver the best, most reliable service to their residents. The HIT Foundation transports their residents to places like doctor's offices and even job interviews. Join us as we learn more about the HIT Foundation and help them find the perfect vehicle to meet their needs.
My name is Clayton Genth. I'm the Executive Director here of the HIT Foundation here in Eaton, Ohio. Our mission here at the HIT Foundation is that everyone in Preble County deserves a decent place to live. We were founded in 2003 by our founder, Mary Bolin. Since then, we've really expanded and provide services all throughout Preble County, not just Eaton. A lot of people don't immediately recognize the transportation issues that rural communities often have. We've seen here in Preble County so many of our families experiencing homelessness and just general poverty struggle with the ability to get to work and get home from work and get to the critical services that they depend on. So with the help of SVG Motors and their partnership and their generous gift to our agency, we're able to better connect with those families and provide those transportation services that they rely on to get to job interviews and the needed resources that they are eligible for. Our organization has three primary lines of services. One, our resident services, where we provide affordable housing to folks all throughout Preble County. Another very important program that we operate is our senior home repair program, where we assist and work with low-income seniors to make necessary maintenance and ongoing repairs to their home, which allow them to remain safely in their home. Our third kind of line of service is our homeless services program, where we own and operate all of the supportive services for those people and families experiencing homelessness. Some of those families are experiencing homelessness on the streets right here in Preble County. If the public wants to get involved, they can always call us at 937-472-0500. We would be happy to talk with anybody if they're interested in volunteering here in our office, serving a meal at the homeless shelter, donating clothes or gently used furniture for families that are moving from homelessness into housing. That is a very important service. If you're a contractor and you want to work with us and learn more about senior home repair and opportunities for contractors to work with us and help serve Preble County, there's opportunities along those lines as well.
Hi, I'm Hunter Hammer, and today on Tech Tips we're going to talk about changing a flat tire. Changing a flat tire can be an easy job, but when you're stranded on the side of the road with a flat, it can quickly become stressful. Not knowing how to change the flat can lead to a long wait for a truck and unnecessary expenses. This is a maintenance job that everyone that drives a car should know how to do. The first thing you should do is pull over safely when you realize you have a flat. Pull over to the side of the road to give yourself enough space to work on the tire. You don't want to be sitting in the road trying to change a tire, so you want to get over as much as you can. Turn on your hazard lights and apply the parking brake. You will then need to locate your spare tire, which should also be stored with a jack and a lug wrench. Next, you're going to break loose the lug nuts for the tire that needs to be removed. Do this while the tire is still on the ground so you have leverage on the tire. Once they are loose, you need to place your jack and lift the vehicle. The right place for the jack is usually beneath the vehicle's frame alongside the flat. Many vehicles have molded plastic on the bottom with cleared areas of exposed metal. This is specifically for the jack. Once the vehicle is up, remove the loose lug nuts and remove the tire. Now, mount your spare tire onto the lug bolts. Hand tighten the lug nuts back onto the bolts all the way. Make sure the tire is as far back on the bolts as it will go. Once all the lugs are back on and the tire is secured, you can begin lowering the vehicle. Lower it to the point to where the tire is on the ground but does not have the vehicle's full weight on it. Take your lug wrench and give the bolts a turn. Make sure that the bolts are tight. When tightening these, use a star pattern on the lugs, start at one, then move to the opposite lug of the one that you are working on, and so on. This will help make sure your tire is evenly tightened. Then lower your jack the rest of the way and remove it when the vehicle is fully on the ground. Using the lug wrench one last time, make sure the lugs are as tight as they can be. Once again, using the star pattern. And once this is complete, you are now done changing your tire. Stow away your tools that you used and safely get back onto the road. If you're using a donut tire and not a full-size spare tire, be sure to get that replaced as soon as possible. As these tires are used as an emergency tire, they're typically rated for only about 50 miles. This is just a tip that everyone driving should know how to do. It's a simple job, but getting a flat on the side of the road can be a stressful job for anyone. Once again, this was Hunter Hammer on another episode of Tech Tips. Stay safe out there.
The all-new Ram 1500 simply has no competition. It is loaded with best-in-class stats and some of the coolest features on the market. It's no wonder why the new Ram is considered one of the best. With the most towing and hauling capabilities of any Ram 1500, as well as improved efficiency and exceptional off-road capabilities, this Ram 1500 is prepared to take on any task. Think heritage Ram brand style with all new appeal, a bold new exterior with a sculpted design, smart cargo management and advanced technology push the boundaries of what you think a truck can be. More space, more storage, more leather, more technology. This all-new Ram is truly the best combination of grit and grace. You got to step up to one of the most luxurious pickups in its class. The all-new Ram has been fully redesigned with a high-strength steel frame and over 100 standard and available safety and security features. The all-new Ram spared no expense. Designed to be one of the most technologically advanced pickups, the all-new 2019 Ram 1500 integrates state-of-the-art tech, device connectivity, and fourth-generation Uconnect systems for an experience like no other. Check out this massive display with the navigation screen. Stay charged and connected. A media center with standard ultra-fast USB charging ports and auxiliary ports means you can always plug in. The active noise cancellation. Its frame-mounted active tuned mass modules work in harmony with the available interior active noise cancellation system that helps reduce ambient sound to provide a best-in-class interior quietness in real-world conditions of 57.6 decibels adjusted. Lighter, longer, and wider, including an overall crew cab length increase of 4 inches. The all-new 2019 Ram 1500 features our most spacious interior yet. Whether it's tools or sporting equipment, the all-new Ram has it covered. With a best-in-class interior storage volume of 151 liters, including class-exclusive in-floor storage, that's nearly twice as much interior storage capacity compared to the closest competitor. Check this out. The available power release tailgate with key fob control makes opening the tailgate easier than ever. Bigger, bolder, and aggressive in all the right places. The all-new 2019 Ram 1500 welds rugged toughness with chiseled grace to create a sculpture in grit and grace. The new aluminum tailgate features an integrated spoiler, updated Ram truck badge with bold geometric shapes, a strong border, and Ram lettering in the new font. But the only way to know if this truck is for you is to take it for a spin.
Hi folks, this is Angel up here in Greenville, and we're going to go through our Under the Hood series today. And today our topic is your cooling system. Now, what is a cooling system? Well, basically every vehicle is set up and the cooling system keeps the engine at normal operating temperatures. It keeps it from getting too hot. And in the winter, when it's extremely cold, it keeps it from freezing up. Some of the components I got laid out here, of course, we have the radiator. And a radiator is a series of coils that the fluid runs through, and air comes across and it dissipates heat, takes some of that heat out of there. And a head gasket, which your head sits on, and we'll explain later why it's very important not to let your vehicle overheat when it comes to these. And then there's a thermostat component, and what happens is when this detects between 180 and 210, 180 and 210 degrees, this will open up and allow the coolant to flow through. Then you got a water pump. Now this is usually, and most of GMs are belt driven, some are chain driven, but this has got an impaler on the back, and what that does is that actually forces coolant into the engine. What we also have, and a lot of people don't realize, an important component is your overflow jug. And on this, most of these are pressurized. So if your car does happen to overheat, or even if it's not overheating, you just stop the car and you say, hey, I want to check my coolant. Don't check the coolant until your car's had sufficient time to cool down, because popping the lid off of one of these or a radiator, some models still do have the radiator cap, will cause second and third degree burns when the coolant hits you because it is so hot. And then we also have a heater core. Now, the heat from the coolant goes through here, and this is what your vehicle uses to heat the interior cabin and do your defrost. And if for some reason you overheat, even in the summer, one way you can help bring that coolant temperature down a little bit is to turn your heat up full blast. In the wintertime, it's not too bad. Summer, it's going to be pretty crappy, but that helps dissipate heat a little bit more if you're having an overheating issue. Of course, you got hoses that go to this. There's hoses that go to this, and these connectors here, a lot of these have internal transmission oil coolers or internal oil coolers, and some have external. And that keeps your transmission fluid and your engine oil at normal operating temperatures and keeps it from getting too high. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is because all these components need to be checked regularly. And if for some reason you're overheating, find a safe place to pull over, shut the vehicle off. Like I said, one good thing is to turn your heat on full blast. Go out and lift the hood up on your car, and this will help cool it down a little bit. Don't try to open the coolant jug reservoir. Now, if you want to put more coolant in it, you're best to do a 50-50 mix. You can buy them pre-mixed. Dexcool for General Motors, it's orange. And you'll want to put that in and make sure you have plenty, but do not put cold water into an overheating engine because that causes catastrophic engine failure. It can also damage other parts, not just your engine, but everything else. Now, we had a customer who came in and was overheating and kept driving while it was overheating, and what it did is it would cause the head of the engine to warp because those are made of aluminum. They can take a lot of heat, but they reach a point where they can't take any more heat. And between the head and the block is this. And what happens is that the head raises up, or even this will develop a lump in it, and it allows coolant to escape. Sometimes you just get coolant escaping from there, and other times you'll get your coolant and oil mixing together, which is a very, very costly repair. So, like I said, this is put into place to keep your vehicle at normal operating temperature. Don't forget, periodically, check your belts. They're ribbed, and you'll want to make sure there's no cracks. Sometimes you can have a few little stress cracks here and there, but they're cracked, worn. If the stitching is starting to come out, replace those belts. It's imperative that you keep your belts replaced. And like I said, these newer engines, there's so many more places for the coolant to go. We've got channels, labyrinth of channels that run through the block. And that coolant comes through here, pushed by the water pump, and it dissipates heat. What it does, it pulls the heat out of that engine and cools it down a little bit and circulates back into the radiator, and then the air blows across it. And like if you're at a stop and you hear your fans kick on, sometimes you can, that's also a fail-safe to help keep that cool. It's like I said, you want to make sure you got an equal amount of Dexcool for GM and water. Try not to use household tap water because they do have minerals in, and when you're going through here and they go through extreme heat, they'll crystallize the minerals in there and they'll stop up things like your radiator and your heater core. Replacing a radiator is bad enough. Replacing a heater core is super expensive because we generally have to pull the most of the dash out in order to change one of these. Good rule of thumb, once a year, I'd say before you go to hit winter time, come in and have the coolant changed in those. What we'll do is we'll flush everything out, including the heater core, to make sure you have no blockages anywhere. Because if you look at one of these hoses, you can't tell generally when the inside of one collapses. They'll look like this on the outside, but it won't be the same on the inside. So it's imperative that we look at that and we get everything flushed so that you don't have that issue. And I always say right before winter, we also have customers that'll come in right at the end of spring, getting ready to go into summer, into the hot months. That's when they'll have theirs changed. Either way, we can take care of that for you. And we just want you to keep your vehicle running. That's a lot of money to spend. We want to make sure you've got everything you need to keep that vehicle going. Again, thanks for tuning in. If you have any questions or any suggestions for future episodes, just send me an email at angel, ANGELL, at svgmotors.com.
Move them up a couple years.
Ha!
Move them up a couple years.
Who's there?
Keep your payments the same. Ah! Move them up a couple years, keep your payments the same. Move them up a couple years, keep your payments the same. One thing you'll notice, something's missing here. You just turn the knob and put it into drive. And right away, it just feels like a heavy truck in a good way. It feels heavy, solid, and quiet. Smooth steering. You know, from the outside, you can really hear the engine purr, but from the inside, it's quiet. This truck feels massive when you're driving it. It just feels, I feel like more of a man. I mean, it's just really cool. Very cool truck. And I mean, everywhere you look is technology. Seriously, everywhere you look is attention to detail. Everywhere. And the technology is simply baffling. And it's like driving something from the Jetsons. I'm actually driving the crew cab Ram truck, and it has a massive amount of space, plenty for my little buddy. You got enough room back there? Oh, God. Every guy's got to have a truck and a dog. Wow. This just, I mean, it really, I mean, there's a little bit of wind outside and I don't feel it. I mean, I could take my hand off the wheel and it just goes straight. Solid. I mean, this really feels like a well-built truck. I mean, actually, it doesn't feel like a truck at all. It feels like I'm driving a Cadillac. I cannot get over how much storage space this truck has. There's just so much room. You could live in this thing. You know, one thing I can't help but to notice is that everything is so ergonomically designed for the driver. I've got the 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive. I've got voice assist, SOS, sunroof controls, lighting, towing controls. Everything is within one hand's reach. And I mean, this is without a doubt the best Ram truck ever built. You know, I'd be remiss that the first thing you notice when you get in this truck is this massive display screen. I mean, it's not a display that you would see on any other vehicle. And you know, you've got every control you want: heated seats, your temperature gauges, climate control, all your apps, Wi-Fi hotspot. What's really impressive about this truck is that at any given time you can click on the backup camera and see what's behind you and what's going on. And that'd be a great feature if you're towing a boat or something and you need to know what's going on behind you. not just when you're in reverse, but at any time. I am not impressed. I'm blown away by this truck. Well, if you know anything about music, you know that Harman Kardon is among the elite of audio systems, and this thing, I don't know how many speakers, but I can see just at a glance at least 8 speakers in this thing. We've got a speaker up front there, and by the sounds of it, there's a subwoofer in here somewhere. You know, I like these mirrors a lot. You know, and during the winter, these have these cold weather so that it defrosts your mirrors, and you don't have to worry about damaging them by chipping away the ice, but you have that second mirror there so you can see beyond the truck, not just alongside the truck, but beyond that. So if somebody's in that blind spot that's super close to you, I like that feature a lot. You know what? I think it's time to see what this thing can do when you step on the pedal. Wow. You know, I'm still getting to know this new Ram pickup, but you know, I know they have the Ram, the Bighorn, the Longhorn, the Laramie. This Limited, it is unbelievable. I don't know what else you could add as far as options and features to this truck, because it has it all. You know, they've thought of everything. You've got the USBs and the adapters for your cell phone so it can charge all types of phones. And then, you know what? It's got a CD player. You know, there are a lot of people that don't know anything about CDs, but there's still some customers who ask, you know, we still have CDs and we want to use them, and there's so many of our vehicles that don't have them. And I like to see the fact that with this new 2019 Ram, we've got a CD player. You know, we're coming to the end of this test drive, and I just want to keep driving. I could take this thing all the way across country. This is a nice truck. I mean, this is something that you wouldn't mind traveling in. From the interior to the exterior, the huge screen on the inside. If you're shopping for a truck, this all-new Ram 1500 has to be on your shopping list. Ram put a lot of effort into making this the everyday work truck combined with your Sunday driver. It's the perfect blend of utility and luxury.
Thanks for watching another episode of SVG Motors Weekly. And if you haven't done it yet, go to youtube.com and subscribe to the SVG Motors channel. Or go to our Facebook page and like our page. And last but not least, if you want to see future episodes, go to your DVR and search SVG Motors and catch future episodes. Thanks again for watching.